In this video, I'm going to talk you through some of the simple changes that we made to a coach's business to take him from 5K a month to 12K a month over the course of 2025. Now, over the course of 2025, I worked with almost 80 coaches in different capacities, all under the six-figure mark and pushing to bring their business to six figures and beyond. Many of them did. And I saw a lot of common patterns emerge between the coaches who did really well and the coaches who struggled. I'm going to share those patterns with you. I'm also going to share the one fundamental shift in thinking you need to go from 2, 3, 4, 5K a month to 10, 12, 15, 20K a month and beyond. And then I'm going to break down the three specific areas that we made changes in for this coach and the exact changes within those areas that we made. So first and foremost, the fundamental difference in coaches who get stuck between 2 and 5K a month and coaches who can go to 5, 10, 15, 20K a month very, very quickly is the concept of leverage and the application of that concept. So leverage is just this idea of getting more done with less. And we've all heard the quote, I think it was Archimedes who said, or Aristotle actually, who said, give me a lever long enough and I will move the world. And leverage is just increasing the amount of output you get from a unit of input. So one example is if I am creating this YouTube video and it gets seen by 30 people, it is more leverage than me, for example, having this conversation one-on-one with somebody in the DMs where they're only ever going to see it and nobody else is going to see it. So there's so many ways that we can apply leverage in today's day and age. Way back, you had to basically have money or power to acquire leverage. So different forms of leverage going back where people, business owners gained leverage over their time by employing people, but they had a duty and a responsibility to keep those people in employment. If you go far enough back, then they didn't employ people, they enslaved people and they got leverage that way. In this day and age, we don't need people to find leverage. We also don't need money. So another form of leverage is if you buy a house or you invest into a business and you acquire money from a bank, that is a form of leverage which you then can use to get yourself an asset or to make improvements in your business or whatever else. We also don't need money to actually create leverage in this day and age. And we are living in a time where there is leverage available to everybody. And depending on what you do, it's going to be slightly different, but there are some very fundamental areas in your coaching business that you can start applying leverage immediately. And the difference between those who apply leverage and those who don't are that those who do not apply leverage rely on hard work. And hard work will only get you so far. As soon as you go past that kind of 2, 3, 4, 5K a month mark, you can't really hard work your way beyond that for consistent periods of time. So, way back in the day, I was a full believer in hard work. I showed up, I worked hard, I sent the DMs, I posted daily. If you go to my Instagram account, I have nearly 1,700 posts over the last 6, 7 years. And, a level of consistency in showing up that ultimately didn't actually give me my rewards. Certainly not in proportion to the amount of work and effort that I put in. And I had to find this out the hard way where I fully relied on manual inputs. I had pretty much zero leverage. I had some leverage in terms of my personal brand and stuff like that, which was actually helping me and doing a lot of heavy lifting. And that's probably why I got to the point of being able to have 10K months. But I could never really maintain it because it always required a lot of hustle to get there. And then the same amount of hustle to just stay there. And I could certainly never kind of break beyond that point. That was because I had a lack of leverage. Since then, I've completely, re-understood business, and I've spent the last 2 or 3 years getting absolutely absorbed in business and entrepreneurial thinking and approaching things as a business owner and approaching things through this leveraged lens where I'm looking for leverage where I can get the outputs or the outcomes that I want with fewer inputs. And that has completely changed my business. It's completely changed my day-to-day experience of running a business, of life. It's changed my clients' businesses as well. And it's a very easy to apply concept. And there are leverage points in every single coach's business that they can access right now. So one of my clients, he is an online coach, a fitness coach. He's based in Australia. And this was his second year working with me. So he worked with me in 2024 and 2025 again. And he went from $85,000 in 2024, his first year working with me, to $150,000. This is Australian dollars, so it's about 101K US dollars. He went from 86K Australian dollars to 150K Australian dollars within the space of 12 months in 2025, which is effectively going from about 60,000 USD to 101,000 USD over the course of 12 months. So pretty much doubling his business. And that came from applying leverage to 3 specific areas. And I'll tell you the areas, and I'll tell you exactly how we applied leverage in each of those areas. So the first area of leverage that every single coach has and can access and can utilize to their advantage is their personal brand. And we hear about personal brand a lot. And if you're on this channel any bit frequently, you'll know I speak about it a lot. By the way, if you want more insights on this kind of stuff, you can click the link in my bio and I'll show you the model I use with my coaches to go from 0 all the way up to 6 figures and beyond. But I talk a lot about personal brand on this channel, and there's a reason for that, and that is because it is the differentiator. It is the foundational piece of leverage that every single coach has available to them if they choose to use it. Now, if you don't consciously think about a personal brand, then you are unconsciously creating a personal brand. Just remember that your online presence is your CV to the world, it's your reputation. And if you don't cultivate it, well then you just have a reputation that you haven't actually put any thought into. And that might be hurting you, and it very likely is hurting you if you haven't given some conscious and some focused thought to how you want your brand to be perceived and who you want to appeal to, which is a massive part of your personal brand. So for my client, one of the first things that we did, and you know, he has about 2,000 followers now and had a few less at the time of starting. One of the first things that we did was we got really clear on his brand. Like, what are his values? What does he stand for? What kind of coaching does he want to offer? To what kind of people? Is that in alignment with the way that he lives his life? Is it in alignment with his beliefs? Is it in alignment with his philosophies as a coach, but also as a person? Like, if someone is to go to his page, consume his content, watch how he lives, does that align with what he's selling and what he can do for other people? That is it's the most important lever to pull, because once you can pull that lever, you instantly can build know, like, and trust, but not just with random people, with people who actually may buy your thing. So you can build know, like, and trust with buyers, which is so important, because a lot of people build know, like, and trust with people who are never going to buy anything, or don't have a budget, or just don't know, like, and trust them for the thing that they sell. They know, like, and trust them for something else. So it's really important that you're clear on what my brand stands for and how that actually intersects with what it is that I sell and what it is that I offer. And when you can pull the lever of personal brand and you can get clear on your marketing message, which is a big part of your personal brand. I'm sorry to spoil the party, but personal brand is not all about authenticity, despite what some people in the internet would make you think. Reality is authenticity only works, as far as it works. And we are in the game of business. We do need to be conscious of the fact that the ultimate skill in business is your ability to influence, and marketing is the skill that influences people to take action and to buy your stuff. It's the kind of pre-selling stage of sales, and it is the most fundamentally important thing. And your personal brand has to have an element of your marketing in there as well. So once you can align those things, your personal brand, who you are as an individual, your values, all of that good stuff, with what you do for other people, how you want to be perceived, what your marketing message is, that creates massive leverage, because it brings people in who know, like, and trust you, but who also see you as the only option because of your marketing and because of how you have positioned yourself to them. The second piece of leverage that's just easily accessible to every coach is systems, right? Like basic systems. Most coaches have no systems. They just show up and they sit down with their phone and send messages and post content. That is not systemizing anything. So with this client, one of the first things that we did in 2025 was we installed what's called an access level offer. And, at the beginning of 2025, he had around 30 clients, and he was struggling because on one hand, the money was decent, the clients were coming in, but at the same time, he was struggling with not having time to focus on the growth and the actual infrastructure of the business. So we implemented what's called an access level offer, and this is effectively an offer where there's different tiers of delivery, and these are based on proximity to the coach. So I have this as well in my coaching. If you come in, you have an opportunity to work with me on a done for you, where I do everything. I effectively take your business and treat it like my own and scale it up as fast as I can. Done with you, where we team up together and we have coaching calls and I tell you exactly what to do, but you go and implement. And then DIY, where I give you all of the content, I give you all of the kind of resources, I give you the templates, I give you access to mastermind sessions a couple of times a week, but you're effectively doing the work on your own and reporting back and getting a little bit of help when you need it. So there's those different tiers of delivery: done for you, done with you, DIY. And we implemented something like that for my client, and that immediately freed up his time. And it also allowed him to increase his lifetime value and his client retention massively, because there was a lower tier of access, which was much more friendly on people's budget and wallet, and they could stay in his coaching a lot longer. And the second thing that we did was we just really solidified his sales system. And you may hear me talking about leverage, and I do talk about things like funnels and automations and ads and all of these good things. But for a lot of people, you don't actually need that, and you can get to 6 figures without all of that stuff, just with a basic sales process. And for this client, he doesn't do email, he doesn't do YouTube, he doesn't do automations. Like, he really does very little in terms of the scope of things that we could do, but he's really locked in his sales process. And he is really, really good at turning attention generated by his personal brand into conversations, into sales calls, and keeping them in the business then because of his access level offer, where he can profit very, very well on the upper tiers, but then he can also keep people in the business for a lot longer, and it means he doesn't have to search for clients all of the time, and he's not kind of doing this leaky bucket business where 3 clients in, 2 clients out, and he's constantly trying to just fill that hole in that bucket. That's not the reality for him. He's got a long-term team of clients and a steady stream of leads and sales coming all the time, which he can predictably and reliably close with his sales process. So systems is the second area of leverage. And then third, the final area of leverage is just the sales and marketing processes themselves. So this is around the lead generation piece, and how do we actually keep putting people into this machine, right? So on the front end, we've got the personal brand, which is the foundation, it's the trust of everything. In the middle, we've got the sales process to convert that attention. But how do we warm up the people in our audience? How do we make sure that the people who we want to work with, it doesn't take them 12 months to become a client? How can we speed up that process? Is there a way that we can interact with them? Is there a way that we can take them from interested to lead faster? And here we can implement loads and loads of different assets. But in his case, it was simply having a different flow of offers and a different flow of assets that he could present to clients to go, or potential clients, to go a little bit deeper with them, to bring them into his world, to build trust, to just shorten that sales cycle and get them into the business.